Shabbat Shalom, dear community family, and happy Purim Katan, the small Purim. It's very interesting that this week, because it's a double month of Adar, a double month of good fortune, of blessings, of high-level energy for the Jewish people, we have 2 months of joy, exhilaration, and ever-increasing happiness. And in both months, we celebrate Purim. The actual holiday that we celebrate in its fullest form is in the second Adar, because that Adar is the Adar closest to the month of Nisan. And since Nisan is the month of the primary immemorable exodus from our enslavement to become free people, it is called the month of redemption, Chodesh HaGeula. And Purim, we also had redemption from a decree of genocide from the evil Haman and his compatriots. And we want to create a proximity between redemption and redemption. So we actually celebrate the halachic Purim when we read the Megillah, and we do all the mitzvahs pertaining to Purim on the second Adar. However, the first Adar, we also celebrate Purim Katan. We do not say parts of the prayer that we never say during a holiday. We celebrate a little bit extra. We feel the energy of Purim. What is Purim? It's interesting that in the time of Mashiach, our rabbis tell us that the 2 holidays that will continue to be extant and continue to be celebrated with its full force is Hanukkah and Purim. Actually, holidays that were established by the rabbinate, not in the Torah itself. Established later on when the Jewish people were threatened to be annihilated. Unfortunately, it should never be. And we found transformation. Purim. A holiday is called by the name lottery. Lottery is an interesting phenomena. It does have no logic. There's no way in which a person can plan to win a lottery. There's no systematic, intellectual, analytical process. It's beyond logic. It touches another level, like straight luck, you might call it, or directed by a force that we have no control over. That was Purim, because the Jew is beyond logic. Nothing and no one can control him except Hashem, unless, God forbid, the Jew loses his holy structure. He loses the holy garments that make him who he is. The Torah that we have to study, the mitzvahs that we have to do, that God gives us the power to be able to access this beyond natural force. That's Purim, a time when the Jewish people re-accepted revelation. When they accepted revelation the first time, they accepted it because they were forced. God placed a mountain on top of their heads, and he was going to say, if you don't accept it, I'm going to drop this mountain. It's over. They had to accept it. On Purim, they wanted to accept it. They accepted it from their heart, from their feeling, from their meaning. But what happened on Purim? One of the most important services that we can do to God, or on behalf of God, or that God commanded us, it's actually for our benefit, is what we call suppressing the evil intent. Suppressing the animal instinct. Most people, when they in any way transgress or they don't follow God's laws, is because they fall, you might say, victim to the animal instinct of a person. Because most of us is animal. What we eat, sleep, have a good time, enjoy, buy, get, own. Animal instinct, ego, honor. That animal instinct is very powerful. And one of the most difficult things to do is to suppress it. And that's what our mission is. Our mission is to awaken the godly soul within us to be able to control the animal soul. Not that the animal soul is the controlling factor, and the human part of us is only to comply with that animal instinct, but the human, the godly soul, becomes the controlling factor, and we suppress the desires and the whims of the animal instinct. But when you suppress something, it's not always easy. You always have to keep on the discipline of suppression. And it hurts. You push something back, you got to push back, and it doesn't really relieve itself because you don't change your internal structure. It's not that all of a sudden your animal doesn't want to do the wrong thing. It's all of a sudden not that the animal enjoys a relationship with God. It's the fact that you do what you have to do. You do the right thing, not because you want to, not because you feel it. It doesn't feel that good. On Purim, what happened was it's called transformation. Not they suppressed the animal, they transformed the animal. The animal also was on the same page. The animal's objective was to be able to serve God properly. The animal's objective was to do the right thing. And the right thing is always to do what God asks us to do and demands from us to do for our favor. And it's because we're a special people and we have the capacity to connect with the beyond natural force. As I mentioned last week, this holiday and its memories and its re-experience comes at the right time. A time when we are literally at a tipping point in our process of our history. And we see this. We see in our own little few months that we've experienced the last event, the whole world was, so to speak, very much in favor of the Jewish people, pitied us, felt bad for us. We got to do something about it. And slowly but surely turned back to the origin and say the Jewish life is expendable. Don't get rid of the guys that want to kill you because they're also people. They also have to have rights. So Purim teaches us. About Purim it says, Hayomim ha'elon niskarim v'nasim. These days are not only remembered, but they're re-experienced. We have to re-experience the event of Purim, when the Jewish people said, yes, we are Yehudim, with two Yuds, we are powerful Jews. We're not going to give up our level of connection to Hashem. We're going to make sure that we maintain that secret power that God gives us. And we will transform. In order to transform, you have two options. Either the evil becomes good. In most cases, you can do that. And then there is the radical evil that you have to eradicate. They can never become good. Then you have to rip them out of their existence because they will continue to be the evil lurching and trying to hurt and to dispel the godliness and goodness of mankind. So as we go into Shabbos, we celebrate the small Purim on Friday and the small Purim, Shushan Purim Katan on Shabbat. It's an elevated time of moment, an elevated experience, a positive experience, a faith, a trust in Hashem that we will overcome, we will win. And as we read in this week's Torah portion, we will rebuild the temple, the Beis HaMikdash. We will again consecrate the holy environment and utilize it to serve God. And we will wait impatiently as Moshiach, who's knocking on the door and looking through the cracks in the wall, saying, I am here, ready to come, to reveal myself and to bring the entire world to a level that Hashem intended. As we mentioned many times, man started out in the Garden of Eden, and when Mashiach comes, we will come back to the Garden of Eden. God bless you. Have a great Shabbos.